All right, everybody. Good late morning. Hope you guys are doing well still. And we talked about mock drafts earlier this morning. So we're going to continue to talk about mock drafts in this video. This time I'm going to do another one. We're going to do Seahawks mock draft version 4.0, where we run down another way this draft can go that I would be pretty cool with. Again, we're trying to mix it up here with each mock. We're trying to vary up our approaches. But at a certain point, there's only so many different directions you can go. So at a certain point, there will come a time where there starts to be some serious overlap. I think we as a fan base are going to start to like zoom in on a certain subset of potential results that we really like. And I mean, that's natural. But right now we can keep our options open. So let's go ahead and open it up. One thing I want to say real quick. A lot of people on my last mock draft said they would have liked to have seen the mock draft with our assumed compensatory picks placed in, which are currently a fourth and a fifth rounder. So I did that this time. It is worth noting that the comp picks are never a guarantee until the league actually hands them out, and they haven't yet. But it is overwhelmingly likely we end up with an extra fourth rounder and fifth rounder. So I went with it. And if the league decides to pull the rug out from underneath us, then we can talk about that when it happens, I guess. But the assumption is reasonable. Please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Let's open her up with round one, middle first round. This name may look familiar to you because I talked about him a little bit in the morning video. Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman out of Michigan. He plays about 15 snaps a game on average at nose tackle, approximately. So I think he'll be able to do it at the pro level, which we need. Even if Jaron Reed comes back, we need nose tackle snaps. And I don't want to look to Jonathan Hankins at 8 million years old to do it. Kenneth Grant's going to be able to fill that gap while at the same time providing some 3-tech reps as well. Allow us to replenish our defensive tackle rotation and not overload anything. And we'll be able to move off of guys like Hankins and Roy Robertson Harris this offseason, easy peasy. And we're good. We're good at that point. Mike Morris, he can go, and we'll just kind of turn the whole thing over and build around Big Cat, Murphy, Grant, and that's your rotation with a little bit of Jaron Reed sprinkled in maybe if he comes back. And I think at that point you should be good. You shouldn't really need too much more on the defensive line at that point to make things cook. Until Leonard Williams gets older. All right, second round, I'm going with an offensive lineman here. Interesting one, Marcus Mbow of Purdue. Marcus Mbow currently playing tackle, right tackle for Purdue. Probably will struggle to play tackle at the NFL level because he has shorter arms. So pretty much everybody expects this guy to move into guard at the NFL level anyway. And when he does, I think that makes a lot of sense as a NFL left guard. He's 300 pounds or so, a little bit on the smaller side. So you probably want to plug him in at left guard. And now you've got a little something going on there that you're feeling okay about. You've got Cross, Mbow next to him. And then maybe you'll have Christian Haynes at center. Figure out what's going on at right guard. Is it Bradford? Is it Lomia? I don't know. Just find something. And then we're crossing our fingers on the Abe Lucas thing, which by the end of the year we may not be willing to risk. But for the moment, I think we can rock with it a little bit. So that would be my round 2 pick. Round 3, I'm going tight end with Gunnar Helm of Texas. Tight end, good player. Stood out a little bit more this year with all the weapons at Texas from last year leaving. Guys like Xavier Worthy, guys like Adonai Mitchell, guys like Jatavion Sanders. Gunnar Helm has been able to show what he can do a little bit better. Nothing overly remarkable. He's certainly, I mean, I feel like I got ruined last year watching Brock Bowers because he's so much better than any tight end that you see pretty much every other year. But Gunnar Helm, nice player. Should be a good replacement for Noah Fant as a playmaker and should allow AJ Barner to kind of grow gradually into a bigger role on this offense. Right now, I feel like AJ Barner is getting overworked because the people in front of him are not doing their job. So Gunnar Helm kind of comes in to take the load off of Barner, because Barner's probably going to be getting a lot of work next year no matter what, because the guys in front of him are going to be gone. So we need somebody to make it so he doesn't have to do everything. And Gunnar Helm's that guy for me. Round 4, moving on to day 3 now. I got a wide receiver, Tai Felton, bigger guy, an X receiver who can play outside from Maryland. Not one of the big names in this draft, admittedly, but I think his skill set fits what we need. We need guys who can play on the perimeter. We need guys who can get releases on press. And I think Tai Felton should be able to do that. So that kind of completes the offense at that point. You've got a Lockett replacement. You've got a new tight end. And you've got reinforcements on the interior of the offensive line. At that point, you should be, if the players can play, at least somewhat, in a pretty darn good shape. All right, round 5 now. We're taking a quarterback here, and this is a guy that I liked a lot last year. Haven't liked him as much this year, but I still think he's worth something. Riley Leonard, quarterback out of Notre Dame. He just doesn't have the arm that is coveted from an NFL quarterback, like a guy like a Riley Leonard. It's not even a Daniel Jones arm, you know. And Daniel Jones has a decent arm. I don't mean to. Daniel Jones has other problems, but it's not even like a Daniel Jones arm. It's more than it's better than a Brock Purdy arm, but it's somewhere between those two things. Maybe it's a Joe Burrow arm, but he doesn't have Joe Burrow's precision, accuracy, and anticipation abilities. So what makes Riley Leonard stand out are his dual threat abilities. He's a very good runner, very productive runner. But I think that he belongs in the NFL in some capacity. Maybe he could be a Brock Purdy. In the right situation, maybe he could be a Brock Purdy. I don't mind taking a round 5 pick on that. If anything, maybe he's got a little bit more upside than a Brock Purdy because of his scrambling ability. But round 5, I think that's about right. Round 6, I'm going edge rusher. I'm a little bit unhappy that I had to wait this long to go edge rusher, but not every mock is going to give you exactly what you want. And David Bailey is an edge rusher who is supposedly going to be available around this point that I really like. Had some really good games for Stanford this year. Not a very talented defense in Stanford, by the way. Doesn't get a lot of help there. Grinds out respectability pretty much every week. I like him. I think that he could end up being a sleeper here. I'm not I'm not going to overplay a 6th round pick, but he can he offers some stuff here beyond what I would usually expect from a 6th round pick. This is a deep edge prop, so some good guys are going to get pushed down to the later parts of day number 3. My next round 6 pick is going to be a safety, Jalen Catalon from UNLV. I think I've talked about him a little bit this year. Nothing overly remarkable, of course, or else he'd be a much higher pick, but I think we need safety depth. I think Kayvon's probably gone after this year, and it's going to be Kobe, and it's going to be Julian Love. Jarek Reed, I mean, the injury, we hope he can make his way back from it, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, he lost the second half of last year to the injury. He lost basically this whole season to an injury. I don't know if I want to be holding the bag on that. If I have an opportunity to get better safety depth, I'm going to go after it. And bottom line is we need some special teams aces in here, and Catalon has a chance to be that. Right now, this Seahawks special teams unit lacks an ace. And I don't know if Jarek Reed's ever going to get back there again because of the injury. Okay. Round 7. I don't know what this guy is doing all the way down in round 7. I don't get it. But Bryce Foster is down there on the aggregate. So I yoinked him. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, this is a guy who I think could be a starter at some point in the NFL. You do find starting caliber centers late in the draft on a semi-frequent basis. So it's not beyond the pale, but what this guy is doing ranked as a not even top 200 player. I think currently he's not even like top 220 in the aggregate. I don't get that one, but I'm very happy about it, and I hope it holds in the draft because I like him. He's an anchor in a very dominant Kansas rushing attack, and I'd be all over that. I'd probably take him a little bit earlier than this. But that's my mock draft 4.0. I did have to push down a couple of things that I think are important because I went with the first round defensive lineman, but I think it fits. I think it fits. I think it's what we need to consider doing, and I don't think we're going to regret it. I think that he would go in there and be a very impactful, useful player that makes our defense better. And we can make up for some of the other decisions that we'd have to make implicit here later on. Like the edge rusher thing. Like, we can keep Nwosu for one more year and hope he has a comeback year in 2025, right? And if that doesn't work out, then we're in trouble. But we can do that. Maybe we didn't do such a good job drafting offensive linemen in this draft overall. We're not going to feel great about what's going on at right tackle necessarily, but we just have to hope on Abe Lucas, right? Every team is hoping that player X, Y, and Z don't get hurt, and they know if player X, Y, or Z gets hurt, they're screwed. Our guy is going to have to be Abe Lucas in this scenario, I guess. All right. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. There will be more videos later. We have an injury report coming in several hours, but for now, let's hear it.